We were sitting in the limo for 30 minutes while he was playing the Battle of the 16th Floor Elevator. You know, just so I wouldn't show him up because I had a tie on and he didn't. But the fact is, I'm still showing him up, okay? Check it out.
Now my wife bought me this tie.
I'm sorry, but it's, here. From me to you, Doug.
Thank you very much. Oh my God.
And this actually has ramifications for the next Pendergast book. So remember, you saw this here first, folks.
Total surprise. We did not rehearse this little comedy act.
You're giving it back after the thing, so don't worry.
There we are. I hope I won't forget it. Anyway, well, we're here to talk about Gideon's sword, and I guess the best place to start is with Hart Island, which is where. Now, how many people here have read the book? Okay, we're definitely going to be careful not to have these spoilers then. But a lot of the action takes place on Hart Island, which is a real place, and it's not very far from here. It's part of New York City. It is the strangest place in all of New York City. It's a 110-acre island off the City Island in the Bronx. It's uninhabited. It's covered with ruins. It was an internment camp for prisoners of war during the Civil War. They had Confederate prisoners there who were abused and many died. And then it was a yellow fever quarantine island, so when ships came into New York Harbor and people had yellow fever, they were put on this island and made to stay there for months. It was a tubercularium. Later it was a boys' workhouse. And there's an abandoned Nike missile base on the island. It is a really strange, eerie place. But the strangest thing of all is that there are almost 1 million corpses, bodies buried on this island. It is the largest graveyard in the world. It's New York City's Potter's Field. So when we are always looking for great settings. So we started looking into this island, and we decided to set. Actually, Linc, why don't you tell about how we actually had the actual idea for the book? Because that's even weirder.
Okay, we were fascinated by the idea of this huge, biggest graveyard in the world, a stone's throw away from Manhattan or the Bronx, and we were thinking about possible ideas for how we could work this into a novel. Then we did one more bit of research, and we turned up a nugget that we couldn't believe. And that nugget is, there's something else that gets buried on that island every single day. And if you think burying bodies of poor people who can't afford to be buried is creepy, this is 100 times creepy as that. When we found this out, we said, okay, we've got our book. This is the perfect book. And I said, okay, this is great. I'm happy to do research. I'll go on Google, I'll go to the library. And then Doug called me up and said, hey, I have an idea. What if I come down to City Island, the Bronx, we charter a boat and go on over there? And I said, yeah, but isn't it, huge signs, off limits, no landing, Rikers Island, prisoners who are digging the graves. Yeah, so we get arrested, great publicity. And I said, you're right, Doug, that's a fantastic idea. And you know what? I'll be happy to come help pay your bail when they arrest you on the island. And I'll let Doug tell you the sad, pitiful fate of what happened to Mr. Preston when he tried to make a commando landing on the island with his wife, of all people. Poor Christine.
I know, our poor children are going to be orphans now. But we went up to City Island and we rented a little boat, a little fishing boat, with an 8-horsepower Evinrude engine. And the guy who rented it was Jack's Bait and Tackle on City Island. You go onto City Island, it's just over there on the right. I highly recommend it. $49.95, you get the boat for the day, gas, everything. So, but he was a little worried that we didn't. He said, well, what are you going to do with the boat? Oh, we're going fishing. He said, well, where are your fishing rods? Oh, we're just checking it out. Well, do you want to, and then I bought a really expensive chart. He had said, just stick around City Island, don't go out into Long Island Sound. I said, no, we're not going to, we'll just stick around, yeah. And then I spent $20 and bought this chart of Long Island Sound. He was like, well, why are you buying that chart? Oh, I like maritime charts. So he was like, don't land on any islands out there, just stick around here, it's kind of rough out there. Yeah, we're going to stick around. So we went out, And of course, we went under the bridge and immediately went out into Long Island Sound, where you have Hart Island is here, and then you have the Execution Rocks over here. There's quite a lot of currents in there. So we went out to Hart Island. We went around it. There were huge signs everywhere saying, "Do not land, do not anchor, no trespassing." New York City Department of Correction, because the island is owned by the prison system, the New York City prison system, and because they use Rikers Island inmates to bury the dead. And they bury them in these huge trenches, 6 coffins deep, mass graves. So we went around the island and looking for a place to land, and we couldn't land. The boats come in for the Rikers Island prisoners. So we landed on the other side, made a furtive land and dragged the boat up, and went on the island, and it was incredible. Christine started taking pictures. Unbelievable. Ruins everywhere. We went into the dynamo room, which was the old power plant on the island. There's this 200-foot smokestack, crumbling. The bricks are falling down. And as we came out of the dynamo room, there was this whole neighborhood, suburban neighborhood, completely overgrown. The houses fallen in, street lamps.
They could read that part in the book. Get on the excitement.
All right, okay. So all of a sudden we heard a noise, and Christine said, I think that noise is on the island. It was a grinding noise. And then around the corner comes this rickety old bus driving on this broken up road. And behind that, a big backhoe. And we ran. And we ran into this abandoned building. We're hiding there behind the weeds growing. And I said, don't worry, they didn't see us. Well, the next thing we know, here are these prison guards with their guns drawn, running around, looking for us. And we're like, oh no, what do we do? So I thought, better give ourselves up before they shoot us. So we came up, hello. And they're like, hands in sight, keep your hands in sight, don't move. Oh, they were so mad. What are you doing here? And I have a New Mexico driver's license. We're just tourists from New Mexico. I took out my license. We don't know what is this place? Why are you so angry? Oh, didn't you see the signs? Oh, I said, well, I couldn't say I hadn't seen them. I said, oh, we didn't, they looked so old. And all the buildings were falling in. We thought that it was all, old. We didn't know it was current. Sorry, this story is getting really annoyingly long. Anyway, so we had to talk. So hours went by. They were going to arrest us. They were going to do this. But we finally talked them out of it. And the guard, the supervisor came down. And he said, "You're going to erase every photograph on your camera," to my wife. So he said, "I'm going to stand here and watch you do it." So she erased all the pictures. And I'm like, oh, the whole purpose of coming here was to get these pictures so I could have reference, to write the story. And Lincoln and I could have the images. So we got in the boat. Christine turned to me and said, "I didn't erase any pictures at all. That guy didn't know anything about digital cameras." So all I did was page through them. The screen goes black for a second for the next one to come up. So I was so relieved, and I was so relieved, I said, "I'm going to call Lincoln." So I called him on the phone, right there on the water with my cell phone. I said, Lincoln, listen, I'm so sorry. They only gave me one call, but I'm in the Bronx. I'm in the jail, and you got to come down and bail me out. You really learn who your friends are. I mean, he didn't. You just heard him say that, he would come bail me out. Well, that isn't what he said on the phone. It was all expletives followed by, bail yourself out, you SOB. I told you not to do that.
Well, Doug, I hate to interrupt this interesting story, but there's someone from the Department of Corrections right out there, and he looks interested in meeting you.
Arrest this man.
Now that Doug has thoroughly incriminated himself, I want you to know the sacrifices and the lengths we take to keep you all entertained. So I hope you appreciate that.